I'm Britt.
And my name is Alissa.
And this is SkeleTales.
And this is the podcast where we try to answer the age-old question of, is my dead grandma watching me? We also talk about psychic phenomena.
Paranormal. Gross insects.
Oh, no, we don't. We do not talk about insects. That is on the ban list. The list of banned topics after flies hatching from
Flatulating.
the back. Farting flies. Okay, well, if you got one of those stories, I'd listen to that. I've never heard that. Flies
it's
hatching from the back
of up in here.
Bot fly stories. No, thank you. You write that down and shove it somewhere, but do not send it in here.
A bot fly? Like a robot fly?
Oh, I wish.
Is that what you said?
I wish. Yes, a bot fly. You don't know what a bot fly is? I thought we've discussed this. No?
No.
Oh, my.
Is it like would it have a little tiny camera on its back?
No. I have talked about a bot fly before. A bot fly is this disgusting insect that will fly and lay an egg in your skin, and you get
you did tell me about that.
Let's not go down that route again.
Did. No, we don't need to go down that.
A
robot fly
better
memories. Much cooler.
No, a robot fly.
Yeah,
again,
we
I would
need
listen
to rehash that.
A robot fly, sure.
Robot
Did you know that there are people that you can contact to try to find their lost pets? There's like animal pet mediums.
Detectives?
Okay. I'm sure there's pet detectives. That's probably there's probably several 8-year-old pet detectives in your neighborhood right now.
It's my kid's dream job.
But we've been having some technical issues here getting up and running, and so I was like, get distracted by some next door alert, and I hop on there, and someone in my neighborhood got in touch with a pet communicator, an animal communicator, because their kitty is missing. It's a black kitty. Oh man, there's going to be a new rash of Black Panther sightings.
Because there's a missing black cat around. Love it.
But apparently this neighbor contacted like a communicator who like channels the location of their pet.
Oh my gosh.
Have you ever heard of anything like this before?
No, but I am here for it. That is awesome.
Should I read it? Should I read the post?
1000%. Yes, okay. Get on that.
So it says, okay. So basically their cat is missing, and apparently they contacted this person. And this morning she got an email from the person. She says, okay. I connected this morning, and here are my findings. Maybe I shouldn't say the name.
Is it the cat's name?
Yeah, it's a cat's name. But
Whiskers.
I had a cat named Whiskers. We'll call it Whiskers. Whiskers did run away. Are you an animal communicator?
Oh,
where is Whiskers?
Maybe.
My brother Adam cut Whiskers. That's very meta. Anyway,
then the name does not.
He thought
fit
they were
at
too
all.
long. So, so Whiskers comes in very young feeling, very sly, street smart. But there is a little bit of anxiety I'm feeling, like, uh-oh, what have I done? Like he was a little too big for his britches kind of feeling. I feel like I didn't read this whole thing. I'm sorry. I got the general gist of it. I was like,
who needs proofreading?
It's just pretty entertaining how detailed it is, actually. That's, I think, what I'm laughing at.
I love that they posted it.
Yeah, okay. I love that they posted it. I thought they posted it in my next door group of like weird shit. And it's just like for the masses. It's just out there looking for help, finding the place that's being described in this post, essentially. So like he was feeling a little bit too big for his britches. I feel like he's a bit wet, but in hiding from other recent weather. His fur seems dirtier than he would like. He is hiding, and it feels like he's in a safe, protected place. It's like he's trying to figure out his next move. I keep seeing cement, below me and around me, and I feel it's kind of large and round. It's dry in there, though. So at least right now, it doesn't feel like a street sewer with running water. More like an access tunnel or something like that. I see a ladder going down to it. He keeps looking up, and I'm hearing meowing, like he's calling for someone. I see some garbage around him, like newspapers and stuff that he's been sleeping on. And he did show me himself drinking water out of a puddle. So he is getting water. He's been trying to climb out, but can't get traction under his paws. I see a field around where he is, tallish brown grass, and I see a chain link fence. I have a feeling of like a treatment plant. But full disclosure, I'm not sure if that's my mind building off of what he's telling me. Sorry, I can hear folks sort of near me, like workers talking. He meows when he hears them. I also just heard he's not alone, meaning there's another animal nearby, but it seems like mice. And then she goes on and says that she centers herself and that she's saying, she's invested if, hopefully she'll find something else out. So, okay, go ahead.
Whiskers is totally trapped in a well.
Oh, yeah, Whiskers is in a well.
Right.
Well, Whiskers.
Like a dried up well, and he can't get out. Lassie.
A dried up well. Maybe I should comment that. I wonder if there is, or like a cistern or something. Well, we have like a culvert right out in our front yard that is a concrete tube. I was like, maybe I should go look for Whiskers, give it a little peek-see.
Oh my, holy shit. What if you
Oh my
found
God,
Whiskers?
what if Whiskers is out front right now? Oh my God. Sidebar, we did have a cat. Our neighbor's cat was in a tree like 30 feet up. Maybe that's an exaggeration. Maybe not. It was up there, way taller than our house, like up there. I think they may have called the fire department.
Fire department?
They don't do that. They don't change batteries and fire detectors. They don't rescue cats from trees anymore, but they tried again.
Worthless.
Come on. I'm not going to shit on the fire department too much because I want to be on their good side should we have a fire. The cat was up there for like a whole day, and then finally the fucking cat just leapt out higher than a rooftop. Jumped. Anyway.
So Mike told me a story when he was a kid. Similar thing. Cat in a tree, and the first thing you call the fire department. It's in every cartoon.
Yeah.
Then they think, okay, the fire department's going to come, ladder up. No, the fire department came. They came. And they took their hose and sprayed the cat out of the tree with the water.
That is the best. So did it jump too? Is that the thing?
It jumped and it was totally
that is
fine.
Hilarious.
And they must have known that.
Oh my God, that is not what I expected at all. We'll come and freaking hose the shit out of your cat in a tree, but no, I'm not gonna climb my ladder and take your cat out of the tree.
Well, in their defense, they probably don't want to get scratched to the hells with, because cats aren't always, the friendliest 30 feet in the air.
Mostly never, I would say. Not always or never, ever. They're terrified at that point. That's why they're not coming down. So several people tried to chime in and help find Whiskers because there is actually a water treatment plant in our neighborhood. We live in a rural area. But we have our own wells, not open pits like you're describing, but we do. So there's a couple water towers, and then there's a treatment center that just had a chain link fence put up. There's no chain link fences really in the neighborhood, but there is just this brand spanking new one. So there's like 7 responses saying, hey, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. And then the 8th is some like old timer in the neighborhood who's like, I bet a coyote got your cat. I heard some shrieking last night. It sure sounded like a cat getting tore up. Like, that's always...
Thank you, next door. That's what we need. A woman who probably paid $500 for a cat psychic needs to hear that you heard a dying cat outside your window.
There's one on every missing animal post. Every single one.
God.
Coyotes, torn to bits. Give up. So... That's my first story. Let's just get into it.
That's good.
Because we have no agenda today, right?
Good. We're going wild. I have 3 stories, but they're all from the same person. So we're just, it's a Wild West today on SkeleTales. We're just going for it. My story comes from Jessica, who has lived in Austin, born and raised her whole life, Austinite. She has always been intrigued with the supernatural and has a sensitivity for this kind of thing, which I think is why these stories I'm about to tell you have happened. Her sensitivity started when she was in middle school, and one of her friends introduced her to the Ouija board, which we all have heard of, and I've never tried. Really want to. So the first time, busted it out at her friend's house, and nothing really special happened. But they were not deterred. So one night they were hanging out at Jessica's house. Friend brings along the Ouija board. And I want to say that maybe the friend's brother or Jessica's brother, I want to say that there were 3 people. Should have written that down in the notes, but be with me. There's 3 people doing the Ouija, Jessica's house. They're upstairs and they're doing the Ouija. They're communicating and they start communicating with somebody, which is really exciting. And they found out that this spirit was 16 years old, and they asked the spirit, "How did you die?" And the spirit says, "B-U-B-B-L-E. Bubble." I'm like,
all right.
Okay. Maybe this isn't working for us after all. Weird way to die. Okay. So they ask him a few more questions, nothing else, super exciting. And then eventually Jessica decides to head downstairs to go grab some drinks. And her dad's in the kitchen, and he asks what she's doing, what she's up to. And she said, "Oh, me and my friend were doing the Ouija board." And he got really serious. And he said, "Whatever you do, just do not ask the Ouija board when you're going to die." And she says, "Well, why?" And he tells her a story about he went to school with high school with this boy, and who's around 14, he did the Ouija board. The friend did. And he asked the Ouija board when he was going to die. And the Ouija board told him he was going to die when he was 16. And then the dad continues by saying that this kid, when he was an infant, had a metal plate put inside of his head from an injury that he had. Well, a couple of years after the Ouija board incident, this boy is at school and he's in gym class and ends up falling and hitting his head right where that metal plate is. Apparently, there had been a pocket of air under the metal plate, and when he hit his head, that air bubble came up and got released from the plate and went into his brain, and he died at the age of 16.
What a bubble!
So Jessica was like, "Okay, I will not ask when I'm going to die. I promise." And then she runs upstairs and she's like, "Get back on the board. We need to just keep talking, right?" And so they ask the spirit, they say, "What is your name?" M-I-K-E. Mike. And she's like, "Oh shit." She runs downstairs and she's like, "Dad, what was the name of your friend who died?" He was like, "His name was Michael, but all of his friends just called him Mike." Oh. She was like, "Okay." But so she's in middle school when this happens. Okay. And she realized after that, yes, I know there's a few ways to debunk that. But she does feel like that since that experience that she was sort of opened up to a more sensitive to the spiritual world. All right, throw it to me. I thought about it too, but throw.
I'm sure. Of course, because I'm a parent. All I want to do is fuck with my kids. If one of them came or if I knew, I'm like, okay, hey, Odin, this is what we're gonna do. Milo and friends are gonna do that Ouija board. Check it out.
I got the vibe from her. And she'll listen and tell me otherwise. But I got the vibe from her that her dad was downstairs and they were upstairs and he had no idea what they were doing.
I want to believe that version. The brother is the only thing that makes me suspicious. That there's a third party who could have coordinated something. But I mean, this is a whole point.
Now I'm trying to remember if the brother was with the first time where they like didn't discover anything, or if it was the second time. I need to confirm.
But the fact that the dad is just like, don't ever ask it when you're gonna die. Did the girls go on to ask when they're gonna die?
When they were gonna die? Yeah. No, they listened they behaved. They didn't ask.
I kind of want to ask the Ouija board when we do it, whenever that happens, when we're gonna die now. Oh no, it will say bubble.
I don't want to know. It'll and then you'll be
Stroke.
Like, stupid Ouija board.
And then I'll have an embolism.
It'll be some random bubble in your head.
Or a pulmonary embolism. That's exactly what that is. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't, but I can't. Why don't you ask it when you're going to die? That's a deal.
No,
sounds good.
I don't want to know.
I'll ask it when Britt is going to die. At what age? That's what I'll do.
I don't want to know. Do not. It'll be I'll like take that Ouija. What is the thing called that's shaped like the?
It's called
I'll,
the
ninja star that at your face and be like,
and it will say today for Alissa. Today's the day. The planchette. Woo! Got that one. That was bothering me.
Planchette.
There we go.
Good
planchette.
One. Death by planchette.
Yeah. How do you die? PLANCHET.
How do you spell planchette?
TE planchette. I believe that's it. And that's also a French word. Ouija boards must be French. I think do we know the history of Ouija boards?
Oui.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm going to write that down. That might be a fun
because thing
yes. To talk about.
Yeah. I don't know. Yes, no.
That sounds like something the French would create. Here
does.
We go. Let's talk about more stuff we don't know
vocabulary about. The origins of words with Alissa and Britt. Okay. What's her name again? Who's your friend who grew up?
Jessica.
Can Jessica call her dad and ask him if he was fucking with her? I want some follow-ups.
I'm writing a little side
I think
note
things are
message.
Yeah.
Jessica.
I want to know if he was fucking with her. We have a lot of follow-ups, so we never actually follow up on. But I kind of want to know. No, I don't, because he probably is like, oh yeah, I totally knew.
That no one will listen
a lot
to.
Of the follow-ups are real bubble bursters. Okay. So was that it with Jessica, or did you have more to this little tale?
Okay, I have more stories from Jessica, but they're separate. So I want you to tell yours. I'm telling you, it's the Wild West.
Wild West.
Tonight.
We're gonna have a story off. What is the thing where you a duel? No, it's not a duel. When you go into the Old West streets and you draw your pistol,
and then you do the a draw. What is that called? Bow, bow, bow.
Is it a duel?
No, duel is with
like Alexander
I guess a
Hamilton.
duel would be with pistols, but
a gun smoke.
I don't.
Why can't we think of what you fucking do?
Gunslinger.
We have a little shootout.
No, the gun.
A shootout.
Story.
Pow pow. I'm gonna shoot you with a story. Watch out, Britt. Ready?
Here we go.
Segue-ish. I don't know. Mitch's mom was a cop, and that's who my story comes from today.
Nice.
Mitch's mom, Howdy, was a police officer. That might come to play. She gave me several stories, so I'm going to pick the ones that I think gave me the goosebumps. So Mitch had encounters like this ghostliness, I think, could run in families. Wait, all my relatives have ghost stories. It's Josh and I don't. Listen. My brother and I. We're the real cynics in our family. Maybe that's why. But she comes from like a long line. Everyone, ghosts everywhere you look. So Howdy, my family jokes about this, that there is a movie called The Police Academy in the 80s. Have you ever seen any of those?
Yes!
So you know that
love Police
the
Academy.
tiny little cop, the tiny little woman cop who has like, she talks like this. And then she's like, on the floor, motherfuckers. That's the kind of police officer she was, because she is maybe 5 foot tall. I don't know how old she, I don't know how old she is. I don't know how tall she is, but she is a little, like, she's tiny. She's short and she's very cute and very unassuming. But then, yes, she had this whole life as a police officer before I knew her. A little backstory about Howdy is that she was born in Indonesia. So Mitch is a quarter Indonesian. Howdy she's actually Indo. It's a European and Indonesian mixed. So they're Dutch Indonesian. It's its own thing, and they identify as Indo. Mitch's grandparents were raised in Indonesia. I think his grandmother did live in between Holland and Indonesia. After World War II, they moved from Indonesia to Holland, and then from Holland to the United States. They were refugees. Indonesia, I mean, the whole South Pacific, I did not know about that region of the world really, and the war and just all of that until I married Mitch and spent time with his relatives. This is relevant because it comes up in the story, basically. So Mitch was about 9 years old when this happened, and Howdy was going through a rough time in her marriage to Mitch's stepdad. It was very hard. It was very difficult. And she was very, distraught about it. And she just needed to get away for a bit. So she took her mom and her 2 kids, Mitch and Mitch's sister, on a trip to Washington, D.C., just a little sightseeing tour, take her mind off stuff. But even though she was there enjoying herself, it was still weighing very heavily on her, just kind of the situation she was in. With this fella. And he was also a police officer. I don't know if that's relevant. He was the chief of police. So they're thick. Mitch is.
Well, it does help me visualize him behind a desk standing
authoritative and stuff. I don't, that seems maybe difficult to live with. So they were staying in an embassy suites down. I don't know if that's really relevant, but she was specific about that. In an embassy suites down in Washington, D.C. And it was in the middle of the night, and Mitch and her had been sharing like a pull-out couch or something. And she got up to go to the bathroom. She was having trouble sleeping because, she like got away from her problems, but they were still like weighing heavily on her. And she remembered just going to the bathroom. Okay. So she's sitting in the bathroom, which I'm telling you, man, it's like some portal to another dimension, the bathroom, something about it. We'll figure this out one day. Science will prove this is true. She said she was sitting on the toilet. I don't think she was using that. She was sitting down like on the, I don't know. That's not relevant. So she's in the bathroom.
Number 1 or number 2, important.
She's sitting in the bathroom and just, I don't think she, just sort of mulling over her situation. And out of nowhere, she hears a voice, like audibly hears a voice, not in her head. She hears it spoken out loud to her. And she says it wasn't in English, but she could understand it. It was in Indonesian, which apparently she doesn't speak Indonesian. She speaks Dutch.
But she understood. She would understand what Indonesian sounds like.
Yeah. She knew because So she knew what it sounded like, but she didn't speak it herself. She said it was like an otherworldly voice. It was not a male or female voice necessarily, but it was clear as day. And the voice said, "It's going to be okay, but it will get worse before it gets better." And she says out loud to this voice, Who are you? And the voice says, "It's Tanta Ichi." So that is her father's aunt, who I don't even think she knew her as a baby, and she really favored Howdy as a kid. Hedwig is her full name, and favored her like as a baby. And she she smoked a lot of cigarettes, and Howdy's like, "I'm pretty sure she's my guardian angel because like I can smell cigarette smoke. Not that it's a pleasant smell, but in times that I'm very stressed out, I will like." Distinct. Yes, I will smell cigarette smoke. And she's like, and it's not, I wasn't with my father on this trip. I wasn't with my father's family. It was just this voice of calm. And she was right. It did get worse. And they ended up getting a divorce. And she's like, and I'm freaking great now. That's what Hetty said. She's like, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
And it was years ago that they got a divorce. It was many years ago now. She also said that she's also smelt like this cigarette smoke. One time she was pregnant with Mitch's sister, and she smelt this cigarette smoke like so strongly. She like spun around to see if someone was smoking a cigarette. She thought someone was there. And she's like, it's not a pleasant smell, but it is just so distinct that I know she is my guardian angel, and she is here with me.
Oh my gosh. I love that. I love that so
Isn't that
much.
so cool?
I am fascinated by this language concept, though. I've pondered this too. If the relatives who don't speak English, like not everything is going to be in English, but the fact that she was aware that it was Indonesian, but that she could still understand it. It was like it transcended language, the connection.
Well, and I also think that there's an interesting that she believes that she is her guardian angel, and I want to say there's an angel language. There's people who claim, maybe it was in that show, that After Death show, that they're like, it was like the angels were speaking this angelic tones or music or something, but it's not words, but you understand everything that is being said to you.
I love that. Although I wonder now, though, like if she's walking down the street and she smells cigarettes, she's like, my aunt. And oh no, it's just some asshole smoking or whatever.
I know, right? Okay. That was my story. Pew!
All right.
Your turn.
All right. Fast forward. Jessica is not in middle school anymore. She is now about 19 or 20, and she has her own apartment. And at this time, she has a friend who's crashing on the couch in her apartment, and she has a little dog whose name I didn't catch, but we should name him.
His name is Oscar.
Oscar. Oh, I like it. All right, Oscar. Okay. In this apartment, there is a bar top, which most apartments have. And in this particular bar top, there's a telephone on top of the bar top. And then below the bar top, there's this like little desk. And then below the desk, she has her dog kennel, Oscar's little dog kennel. And then to the right on the wall there is a clock. And this is specific to remember. It just has the hour and the minute hand. And she chose that clock because it drove her nuts that the clocks that have the
the tickety-tackety.
Drives her crazy. Mm-hmm. Didn't want it.
No cuckoo clocks for her.
No cuckoo clocks. So, the strange things started happening in that particular area of the apartment. No other place really, just there. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. But what would happen is often the phone would ring, and they'd go to pick up the phone, and there would just be a dial tone, nobody on the other end. Or someone would be talking on the phone, and then all of a sudden it would just cut out. The phone would just cut off, and there would be a dial tone. And then the dog, who generally loved being in his kennel, Oscar loved it, all of a sudden started refusing to go in the kennel and just hated going to that area altogether and would walk completely around to avoid it. And the laptop that she would keep on that little desk there constantly was getting pop-ups out of control. Bing, bing, bing. Twice she took it to her IT person at work, who's cleaned the computer completely, put all the viral software, and was like, you're good to go. It's like a new computer. Very next day, bing, bing, bing. Viruses everywhere. So one particular day, Jessica's sitting on the couch, and her friend is over there talking on the phone at that bar top, and then out of nowhere, the phone just goes static. It's not even that it even cuts off. It's just like, shh. And so I don't know the time span that this all happens, but the call gets cut off, and then the dog, Oscar, starts barking. And he's barking directly in that area, and he is going bonkers. And then they look over where he's barking, and Jessica's laptop, which was turned off but opened, turns on and then starts popping up with these ads again. Bing, 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 bing. That clock that's on the wall.
What? It's ticking? It's not supposed to tick?
Loudly ticking on the wall. Shouldn't even happen. There's not even a second hand on the clock. And then the air gets really cold. And both girls are standing there like feeling this. All of this is happening. It gets really cold in the apartment. And then from Jessica's bedroom, they can visibly see this crazy wave of energy start moving into the living room where they are. And it's going through. And then out of this energy, a round, fat finger comes out and pushes Jessica right into the face. Pushes her into the cheek, in her cheek. She's so freaked out that she falls back. And then this energy just keeps moving and it goes out of the apartment. And then all of a sudden, instantly, the ticking clock stops. The pop-ups completely stop. The dog calms down, and everything was normal again.
What the fuck? Okay. Did it go boop? Or like pew?
I don't even, no noise. No noise. It was just this like, I don't even know. I know. Okay.
I would be freaked out. Was that the touch of death? Like, that is freaky.
I was very curious about it. That was where I was like, wait, tell me more about this finger.
Like, pew.
So then she starts to describe the finger. She says it's, big hand, round, fat finger. And then she has this memory pops into her head. And she remembers waking up one morning in that apartment before this incident happened, waking up with a large handprint on her leg, on her upper thigh.
What the shit?
So, she was like, did I do this in my sleep? So then she puts her hand print and I'm trying to show you, but she's trying to turn her hand to where it can she can match up to see if maybe it was her. She cannot even turn her hand in the right direction to where the handprint is on her thigh. And not only that, but it is a completely different size. This handprint has large, round, fat fingers, and it is on her thigh.
Oh my God, Jessica. Oh.
And she told me that she took photos of this and that she was going to try to find them. And I hope she does, because that'd be so perfect if we could share this handprint.
Was it Mike? Mike, the brain bubble boy?
No, that wouldn't be a 16-year-ld's hand size. They have tiny little hands.
Big,
at 16,
I don't know. How big was your handprint at 16?
We don't need to talk about my hands, Alyssa.
I mean,
although I've met now one person who has fingers longer than mine, and they were a professional football or a basketball player.
Did they ask you to arm wrestle?
Oh shit! I should have. I'd be like, oh, you think you're better than me with longer fingers,
Let's
huh?
do it, arm wrestle. Oh my God, I wish that's what you were saying.
No, I have freakishly long fingers, but
so many things.
Yeah, no, crazy.
Okay,
yes.
I definitely saw this going a different direction. I thought it was the clock was going to be haunted, okay? The pop-up windows, unless they were like, I want to touch your face. Is that what they're all saying? I'm going to touch you. I want to touch that.
They're like specific porns about face touching.
Real face touching fetishes.
Fetishes.
Popping up I thought the clock was haunted. I thought you were telling me a story about a haunted clock. I was like, did she get it at some sort of weird curiosity shop? Like, where did she get that clock?
Mm-hmm.
Or then my brain also went to those Indiglo watches from back in the day, or the Uranium Girls, where they would paint it with radioactive shit. And so maybe it was just altering.
It's like in the 2000s.
Well, it was an antique clock. We didn't know. I need to know more about the clock. I needed it. I was like really trying to picture the clock.
That's true. I did not.
You focused on the clock.
Focusing on the clock.
I felt led astray. Come at me with a freaking disembodied finger.
I had to preface that it did not have the minute hand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But I really started brainstorming on the clock. I'm delighted as to where it went though. Where did she live? Was this in Austin area?
Yes.
And
in
does
Austin.
she know was it an old building or does she have any ideas?
Nope, it was an apartment complex. And I mean, I have to imagine she was really grateful that her friend was there to like back up to the
she
story.
Saw the finger too?
The friend saw it all. It all went down.
Oh my God.
And then because the handprint incident happened before this crazy energy wave. And so like was it a spirit or just some weird energy that I don't even know, but it was. She said though, after it left that day, it went out of the apartment and she said after that, no pop-ups or viruses on her laptop at all. No issues with the phone.
Well, yeah.
No, her dog went back into the kennel just fine. Clock's fine.
It got what it wanted.
Was just
that you could finally touch the face. I would be very
working up the energy.
I'd be very unsettled. I would not feel okay after that. The thing touched. Did it? She felt it touch her face. Like it.
She felt it. Well, and she said it like, I don't know if it was the shock of it or the power of it, but she like fell back. She fell back because it was so jolting to have a finger come and just right in the face.
New theory. No, I still like my other theory. I was going to say maybe it was like releasing something out of her. It was exercising something that shouldn't be there. I would not be okay with this. I would think that it has now infected me with something. I now have some sort of spirit. That's like the touch of death.
I think it was more of a relief where she's like, thank God this thing is gone. Like, I think that because she is sensitive to that stuff, she would have realized if she'd been like, the finger possessed her, but none of that happened.
I still wouldn't be good with that.
It was almost. I almost wonder if the finger was just like, "Peace out, bitches!" Boom, and then out of here.
Like an annoying little. Oh my God, that's crazy, an amazing story. The energy, man. I like that one. That was did not see that coming. Jesus.
Ooh, here we are, Wild West. Boom,
okay,
boom, boom.
I'm going to throw in a story because speaking of haunted clocks, which apparently you weren't, but
oh, I mean, it kind of was.
But Mitch's Tanta Lou, so Hetty's sister-in-law, so her brother's wife, Tanta Lou.
Okay.
Owned Peter, so there's Uncle Peter married Aunt Lou, who's from Thailand. So Tanta Lou, though, is very superstitious. And she went to a garage sale one day and she bought a painting at this garage sale that she liked. And she took it home and she hung up the painting. And after that, she noticed a string of like bad things happening. Like 3 of her fish died. And then I think she may have like gotten to a fender bender or a little accident. And then I think like what if something happened to one of her pets? And Tanta Lou was like, oh, hell no. I know what's causing this. And she took that picture off the wall, drove back to the house she got it from at this garage sale, which the garage sale was no longer going on. And she knocked on the door and she returned the painting to the people because she was convinced it was cursed. And she's like, nope, not having it, and returned this cursed painting that brought like that. And she's like, after that, it all went back to normal. It was totally fine after that.
What are your thoughts on something like that? A cursed
object? So we have a painting in our house. We weren't speaking of Ted Bundy. We were a couple of weeks ago. That Mitch got in he got at a garage sale in Denver, and it is a picture of Neil Diamond, and you've seen it, our Neil Diamond painting.
I know exactly. I know exactly what you're
epic
talking
painting.
about.
Apparently, it's from the jazz singer, and that's it was a movie and an album. I've never seen or heard either of those, but he's got like a microphone, and it's he's reaching up with one arm, and it's kind of pop, like the style of it is only like 3 colors or something, and it's black, and maybe I can post a picture of it. And
you should.
So it's red and black, and it's pretty epic, and it's pretty fun. But the signature on it is Bundy, Bundy. And it always sort of bothered me. And I was like, do you think that that's Ted Bundy? Did Ted Bundy paint? Like, some people are into serial killer art. Not I. I don't want a picture by Ted Bundy. Like,
it has to be
right.
cursed.
And so it really made me wonder. And I was like, oh, I don't know. So, Google it. Does Ted Bundy paint? Did he paint? And what do I find? I find an article from Arizona with more of these pictures, a painting. One is of Raquel Welch, one is of Michael Jackson, and there's a newspaper article saying that these paintings were supposedly made by Ted Bundy, but it couldn't be verified, and they got him from this, and I can't remember all the details. And I was like, what?
No.
Oh no. And then there's another link and another website, and it's like, is my painting by Ted Bundy? And it's a whole
there's
a whole website with it, and then these other paintings. So someone else had found this article and it's like, I have one of these too. And so I email in and I was like, hey, I've stumbled upon this, and here's the photo of mine. And their response was like, OMG. I can they were gobsmacked that another one existed. Absolutely gobsmacked. And then ended up on their website too. So I don't think
you never got to the bottom of it.
I don't think that it was Ted Bundy, the serial killer, because I think just the timeline wasn't right. Like the Michael Jackson, it's just the pop references in the photos.
True,
I think
true.
I hope we're afterwards, because I really like the painting, and I was like, is it bad luck?
Also, when did that asshole have time to do great painting artwork? But then the question lies, who's painting these paintings?
Which Bundy is it?
Who's this Bundy? Well, because I know John Wayne Gacy and his clown paintings are worth a ton of money.
That's what I was scared of. But he could paint in prison. That's when he would have the time. In prison.
True. Yeah, not while killing young women.
From my very thorough research, it doesn't sound like he was artsy. It doesn't sound like he painted like John. I actually heard something recently that John Wayne Gacy, which this isn't a serial killer podcast, but he was a party clown, right? That killed boys. Okay,
yeah,
so that's about all we need to mention.
Boys.
He was a serial killer, famous, who also, did he paint pictures of clowns? Is that his paintings?
He was clown obsessed. And I think he collected and also painted pictures of clowns.
So I heard recently that he actually did not paint those pictures, that he had other people at the prison paint him and just say he painted.
I heard that too.
We probably listen to the same podcast.
What?
Yeah. So I don't know, but I have not. I mean, who knows? Who knows what I've brought into my house that also coincided with a string of bad luck.
Here's the thing, though. Did you have a string of bad luck once Mitch brought it home? And
it existed. It existed before me.
You probably weren't superstitious enough.
Oh. No, it freaked me out a bit because I do have some anxiety issues, and I mean enough that I looked it up because I was like, if this is by Ted Bundy, I don't want that. That it's bad juju, bad energy. I don't want it. I love it. It's fun. If it's by Ted Bundy, I don't want it in the house. I don't think it's going to bring
this
good.
This is good. Post
good juju.
We've got some. Maybe we have some good detectives working on my family mystery, and now they can work on your painting mystery. We'll put it in the show notes.
Skeleteam, go.
Skeleteam, go. Boo, 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 boo.
Okay, your turn. Your turn. Bam.
All right. Here we go. Boo. boo, boo. Jessica is a little older now. She is in her late 20s now. And at this point, she is living in a house in Pflugerville, Texas. Spelled with a P.
What? No.
Nope. P-F.
Wait,
Pflugerville is what.
Okay, no, I've seen that like once before in my life. Oh, Pfeiffer. Never mind. I've seen it more than that.
Anyways, this has absolutely nothing to do with
I want to talk about the origins of words more. PF, I've got an issue with. KN's knife. No, get rid of those.
And here's the thing. It's like now, because of the PF, Pflugerville, it's like Pflugerville has fun. And they just put a P in front of every F now. It's like,
oh my God.
Pflugerville,
PF that.
It's like,
yeah. Dude, yeah.
Yeah. Fuck that. Anyways, okay.
Oh, Pflugerville.
Nothing to do with Pflugerville. Okay, so she is living in this house, and she'd been living in this house for several years with her long-term boyfriend, but they ended up breaking up, and she stayed in the house. He left, but she couldn't afford the house on her own, and so she ended up having to get some roommates. But before she got the roommates, shortly after the breakup, she had her friend Ron over, who she says is a little sensitive too. And he comes in and he's like, is this house haunted? And at this point, she's lived here for a few years and she has this, a sensitivity. Yeah. And she was like, I don't think so. And he said, I just saw a woman in the hallway who has long, wavy hair. And she was like, okay, I've never seen her before. Interesting. Good to know. Noted. And she had another friend that same day come over, Allison, who said that she had felt a weird energy in the bathroom. And so she looked over into the bathroom and saw a dark figure of a woman in the bathroom.
Oh.
So Jessica hears these things from her friends who have this sensitivity. And she's like, at this point, she's going through this breakup. She's got a lot of shit on her plate. And she's like, you know what? I'm just not even going to give this ghost woman my time of day. I'm not going to give her my energy. She just couldn't be bothered with the ghost in the house.
No time.
So she kind of brushes it off. So she gets her first roommate. They move in. And then shortly after, this first roommate decides to invite her boyfriend to come live in the house without letting Jessica know. And then shortly after that, they decide to just not pay the rent altogether. So she is tasked with the awful job of being like, listen, if you can't pay rent, you gotta go. And so they're like, okay,
be that way. Fine. We'll be that way.
We'll leave.
That's
we'll
annoying.
leave. And then they don't leave. And so she's like, and it's really tough. And she's in her, now it's late 20s, but still, this is it's a shitty situation to be in. She doesn't want to confront them. And at this point, to afford to live in this house, she's working
that's the point. That's the reason she got a roommate. And now she's got 2 more mouths to feed and lights to keep on and shit.
Yes. Yes. So shortly before the couple says they're going to leave, the water turns off on the house. And she doesn't give it too much. I think she tries to turn it on and back off. Nothing's happening. She's like, I'm working doubles here. She doesn't have the capacity. Also, she's fucking annoyed with these roommates. But the water getting turned off, really puts a little fire under these roommates' ass, and they're like, fine, we're gonna leave. This is annoying not having any water in this house that we're sort of mooching off of. And they end up leaving.
Good.
The very day that the roommates leave, the water's right back on. She's like, cool, man. Awesome. She doesn't really look into calling a plumber or anything. She's just like, awesome. There was no reason why it shut off or why it shut back on or came back on, but it is awesome. So around this time, Jessica ends up getting a boyfriend who I will call a-hole. He's a bit of a younger guy, and he's a pillhead. And one night, they're in her room, and they're having a really heated argument. And they're both yelling at each other, and they're just very, it's heated. I think I already said that. So he's on the right side of the room, and she's on, I don't know where she is. He's on the right side of the room, but then he looks over to the left side of the room, and he goes, "What the fuck?" And he drops to his knees, and he covers his head, and he starts screaming bloody murder.
What?
So he's terrified, and so Jessica completely forgets about whatever they're fighting about, and she runs over, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And he goes, "Where is it? Where is it at?" And she's like, "What's at?" And he goes, "The shadowy woman with the wavy hair." Oh! And she's looking around. She doesn't see anything. Nobody's there. Shortly after that, they break up. I mean, that relationship did not last long. He's gone.
Oh my God. That was like, okay, I've got goosebumps. I have like water in my eyes. Like, that is like terrifying. I'm picturing the girl from The Ring, by the way, when you say this stuff, like just.
The long wavy hair.
Like now that's something so horrifying. His reaction was completely different than the other two. That was like.
Yes.
He saw something
terrifying.
Yes,
the other friends were like, "She's just hanging out, this figure in the house." He's freaked out by her. So good. So then she gets another roommate. This poor girl with her roommates. This roommate is a big snoop. This roommate loves to go in her room and look through her things and like go in the bathroom and get her hair clips, paint her nails with her nail polish. She's just going through her shit constantly. Well, one day, she asks Jessica, this new roommate asks Jessica, "So what's going on in this house?" Jessica's like, "What do you mean?" And she goes like, "Well, I think I saw a ghost today." What? So the roommate admits that she'd gone into Jessica's bedroom, and she thinks that she sees Jessica in the bedroom, and she's like, "Oh, hey, Jess, here I am in your room." The person who she thought was Jessica turns, looks at her, and lunges at her. The roommate books it out of the bedroom, and she's like, "I think I saw a ghost."
Oh my God.
I thought it was you.
A lunging ghost.
It's not. Yeah. Lunges Jessica. At her.
Okay.
So Jessica, like I said, she's sensitive. Like, she feels stuff. She's in nothing. She doesn't see it. She doesn't feel it. Nothing. Nothing with this ghost woman. So shortly after the second roommate incident, she ends up actually moving out of the house. And not because of the ghost, but just like life was just shitty and hard and awful. And it was a really hard year. All of this happened in a span of 1 year from when the breakup happened to when she moved out. And after she moved out, the woman like didn't appear to her ever again or witness herself around. So Jessica thinks that it's like an extension of herself, and that's how she explained it to me, how it was like she couldn't deal with that shit, so she had like her spirit self kind of like doing it.
As soon as someone said, or you said, the long wavy hair, I thought spirit guide. Maybe because that's how my spirit guide was described to me, like as
No, that's exactly what I told Jessica on the phone. I was like, "Girl, I don't think I think that's your guide. I think that's your like protector, because in every situation, I mean, first it was like right after the breakup, she shows up. And her friends see her, and she's like, "Oh, who's this person who has not been in this house for several years?" And then it always shows up in the hard times where it's like the snooping roommate or, the crazy boyfriend who she clearly shouldn't be dating, but she's dating because she's a hot mess, like.
And it's almost like it's expressing the feelings or like the one that lunged. She's like, "Get out of this room. You don't belong here. Get the fuck out." And like the boyfriend, like, again, same thing. Like, no, like it was heated, and she's like, fuck no, I'm not having this. And it's almost like Hetty was having, during times of stress is when she would like sense her Tanta Ichi, like her spirit guide, her, like during really intense, stressful times is when they would show up, which Honestly, for me too, that's when I will put shit out to the universe, mostly like when I'm really stressed and need some guidance, and I end up getting answers. Jessica, that's a fucking awesome story. So now hearing all this about Jessica, I'm now thinking maybe she wasn't calling bullshit, or her dad wasn't fucking with her, that she really had something going on.
I'm telling you. Yes.
Yeah, and that
she's got a connection. Actually, funny you should say this, and this is the last little bit tidbit about Jessica. She tells me at the very end of our conversation that she actually has an aunt who her job was to go into other people's houses and cleanse the spirits from her houses. And this aunt tells her that she had a gift too, but I don't know when she told her. So, Jessica does feel like she has this sort of thing, and it's in the family. It sort of seems
that way. I think Hetty's stories are good, but damn, Jessica, you're coming strong at this showdown.
Oh, showdown!
Is it a showdown?
I like that. Yeah, that sounds more appropriate. Showdown.
At high noon.
Story showdown.
That was pretty good. That was better than I let it be.
I like that. A vulture circling.
Yeah. So Hetty's brother, Peter, was in Indonesia at one point. And he was driving back to the hotel or something late at night, and driving down the road, and then all of a sudden there's a dude standing in the middle of the road, and he has to swerve out of the way to like avoid this guy. And he's like, holy shit, that was a close one. Gets to his hotel, spends the night. On the way back, down that same road the next day, he notices that there's a memorial on the side of the road for a man right at that exact spot where he swerved to avoid this fella. And I was like, wait, did he hit the dude? And now there's like flowers and shit because he actually didn't swerve. She's like, no. Like
they just put it up that night.
Yeah, that morning. They were fresh. There's the outline in the road of the body. No, that's not how it was. It was like totally, the story was, it was, he saw the ghost of the fella there. But at the same time, like Indonesia, and we've talked about that with Chris too, how like Japan, they just, ghosts and spirits live amongst them in those that part of the world. It's just a completely different relationship with the afterlife and spirits than we do over here in the States. So the last story I have though is now take us back, like Mitch is in high school. So Mitch and his sister Sarah and Mitch's best friend Iggy went out to a concert at Darien Lake, which is an amusement park / concert venue out near Buffalo, New York. So Darien Lake is probably, let's say it's about an hour from where we live, or from Rochester, and Hetty's house at the time. So Mitch's sister was driving, and instead of taking the throughway, they took some kind of back roads going by Mitch's house out in Williamson, Mitch the Peanut Man, the haunted house there, very rural, as he had described.
Haunted farmhouse,
Amish country. So it's probably like, it's late, it's after a concert, you know how that is. And she knows the kids are heading home. She's not really sure when they're going to be home. She decides to go to bed. She's not going to wait up for them. She knows, they'll be safe. And she's laying down to go to bed. And all of a sudden she finds herself sitting up straight and yelling out loud, "They could have been killed!" For like no reason, just a sudden, it just overcame her. And she's like, well, that was weird. And I think she tried to sort of settle back down, but she couldn't. And so
not at that point.
So then about a half hour later or so, she hears the kids come home, and she gets up, she goes downstairs. She's like, "Oh, hi guys. How was the concert? How was everything?" She's like, "Mom, oh my God, you won't believe what happened to us. You won't believe it. We were out by Dad's farm, and we were taking this right-hand turn." Well, she described the road very thoroughly. It's not all that relevant. Basically, a guy ended up running them off the road. He cut them off. Sarah, Mitch's sister, had to swerve out of the way, go off the road to avoid getting hit, to the point that they like got out of the car to like regroup. The guy didn't stop or anything, but it was like such a startling, like she went off of the road. So it was such a startling accident. They like got out of the car, they regrouped. They're like, holy shit, are we okay? Is everybody okay? That was like super intense. And they, you know, they get back in the car and Hetty's like, when did this happen? They're like, oh, geez, probably like a half hour ago. She's like, that was 11:30. That was exactly 11:30. That is when I screamed out loud. So she knew. I don't know. She knew it was happening. It wasn't like she's like, there's no premonition.
But she didn't have the dream.
Nope, she just reacted in real time to a certain situation. And she thinks, I don't know if they must have like thought mom during that time or whatever. They just put out this like pulse of danger or something that she sensed like miles and miles away and just sat up and reacted to, because she didn't know what happened. It wasn't like she saw a car accident in her brain or anything. It was just like a sudden, like a reflex. It was like a reflex.
Just reactionary.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
yes. Oh, that's
so,
awesome.
Apparently after, they got into the car, so they got, you know, assessed, they were okay, got back in the car. They're driving down the road, really still shocked and shook and shaken about this. It's late at night, obviously it's 11:30, and you know, Sarah's driving and just like, oh my god, you know. And then Mitch is just sitting there like giggling in the back seat, giggling. Like, I know, like annoyingly so, probably.
Is he stoned?
I don't know. I did not ask, but I don't know. Not relevant. So giggling like uncontrollably, sort of. And to the point where
there is that thing that happens though when you're kind of this scared nervousness.
Yes. Oh my God.
Then you can't control it. I hear it about women on their wedding day.
I laughed.
They're at the altar.
Uh-huh.
You did? And uncontrollable, where it's like, I can't stop laughing. I don't know.
Exactly. That is totally what I am. I laugh. I laugh at scary situations a lot too, because I laugh at myself or something. Or did you know there's people who laugh when they're in extreme pain? I don't have that response. They laugh.
I've heard that before, just recently, actually.
So he was just like laughing. And to the point where his sister got really annoyed. Sarah's like, what are you laughing at? Like, you know, she's like, that was a fucking serious fucking thing that just happened. We almost died. What are you laughing at? And Mitch is like, we left Iggy on the side of the road back there. So they all filed back in and just freaking took off and left him like in the middle of nowhere on the side of the road. And of course, Mitch is just like, Mitch enjoys that's so Mitch to just laugh and giggle and not be like, Mitch. Oh my God, we left
and not
Iggy.
Instantly say like, stop,
just let's
go
keep
back.
driving. Let's see how far we can go before she realizes that we left Iggy on the side of the road.
Oh my God, that's so good.
So those are the stories. That's I don't know. Was it a draw?
Oh damn!
I don't know. I don't know, man. You had some pretty good. You had some pretty good tales. The finger.
You
coming
came
up.
at me with like families, aunts,
tantas, left and right.
Tantas. Oh man.
Yeah, that was really Mitch's family story. Like, I mean, kind of got touched on everybody over there. So
I'm so happy you talked to Hetty. Does Hetty listen?
She said she has listened.
Thank you, Hetty.
Hey, if you want to hear about the ghost that Milo saw waiting outside of Odin's door one morning, go check it out on our Instagram reels or somewhere on there at SkeleTales Podcast. That's it. Just SkeleTales Podcast on Instagram.
We are also on Facebook. We have a great community over there. SkeleTales community. That's all you have to search. Yeah. And there we are. Boom. We're talking about some fun stuff.
Email us at skeletalespodcast@gmail.com. You could call us at our phone number, which Britt knows.
302-689-DEAD. 302-689-3323. And listen, we just need one more call. So call in. It could be a short story. It could be a long story. But call in because we're doing an audio episode, people, and we need one more story. So literally, it was just one call.
There have to be people out there like me,
that good of a story,
who don't want to type, who don't want to take the time to type. Just call and speak your words, please. Oh, check out our merch shop. Wait, we've got a merch shop. Also,
oh my gosh, yes. Okay, you can find that link on any of our socials that we just discussed, or you can hop over to Etsy.
Yep.
It's just SkeleTales Podcast. Just do a search for that.
Yeah, on Etsy.
Get a good t-shirt, notebook, mug.
Yeah. Hey, like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your kids, tell your kids' friends.
Review.
As long as they don't go to my kids' school.
Oh my God, so many children will be
don't
listening.
Listen.
No,
it's not for kids. I'm kidding. I hope it's a joke. I hope you all understand. And if you are a child, go tell on yourself to your parents.
Yes,
this is a disclaimer. I didn't know we should have disclaimered this to begin with. SkeleTales, it's because it sounds like VeggieTales, Britt. We talked about this in the beginning. We knew that we've got
little 3-year-olds listening.
Oh, God. All right. Well, damage is done.
Hey, Alyssa.
Yeah. Oh, Britt, what? Yeah, what's going on?
Haunt y'all later.
Haunt you later. Good night.
Good night.